So we have some great news with the story with Breonna Taylor. And, you know, we have been making sure to cover not only this story, but Ahmaud Arbery, but we cover these stories between two different news channels. Now we have this one you're looking at, African Diaspora News Channel, and also we have our other channel, African Diaspora News Insider. So make sure you subscribe to that one because we're doing updates to different stories between both news channels. So the update that we have heard now after the last story, we reported that they are acquiring body cams for all the cops in the Louisville Police Department after this. Now they have dropped the charges on Kenneth Walker, but let's go ahead and roll the clip. You're going to hear his explanation of what happened that night and also the cop that he shot, but let's roll those clips.
In the early morning hours of March 13th, Kenneth Walker says he and his girlfriend, Breonna Taylor, were in for the night.
She had actually just dozed off, probably like 10 minutes before.
Meanwhile, LMPD Sergeant John Mattingly says officers were outside to serve a warrant.
I knocked on the door, banged on it. We didn't announce the first couple because our intent was not to hit the door. Our intent was to give her plenty of time to come to the door because they said she was probably there alone.
This whiteboard shows what LMPD's plan was for the night, to knock and announce at Taylor's address. In both accounts, Walker and Mattingly say there were multiple knocks on the door.
I'm scared to death. So she says that there's another knock at the door. She's yelling at the top of her lungs, and I am too at this point. Who is it? No answer, no response, no anything.
After about 3 different bangs on the door, Walker and Taylor start walking to see who it is. Walker says they never heard anyone announce themselves.
So now the door's like flying open. I have one shot, and then all of a sudden there's a whole lot of shots. And like we both just dropped to the ground, and the gun like fell like right over there. And I like kicked it because I'm like scared to death. Like now we're seeing lights and stuff.
Walker says there were no lights on in the apartment at the time. He says he called his mom, then 911, then Taylor's mom before he realized it was police. Sergeant Mattingly describes what he saw after ramming the door open and announcing their presence.
I'm face on about probably 20 feet away, right down the hallway. There's a bedroom door on the right, and there's the male and a female. The male's closest to the door, so he's to my right. And as I turn the doorway, he's in a stretched out position with his hands with a gun, and as soon as I clear, he fires, boom. And as soon as the shot hit, I could feel the heat in my leg. And so I just returned fire. I got 4 rounds off.
Commonwealth's attorney Tom Wine says Mattingly's thigh wound could have been worse if not for his wallet in his pocket. After gunfire was exchanged, Walker eventually came outside where he talked to police and told them Breonna fired the shot.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. I was just scared. Like, I didn't want them to think that I was, like, on something where it's like when I first came out and stuff, I had no reason to say, like I said, my gun's legal and everything. Like, clearly I was scared, like.
So their brother was defending himself and defending his household. You heard the scenario. They knocked on the door, didn't say police, didn't say anything. Then they bust in, as you heard, and there you go. I mean, a shootout started. They say it was dark, they couldn't see or whatever. Those no-knock warrants are something that they should not do, okay? Seriously, they shouldn't do that because actually it's not safe for the cop as well. I'm talking about the cops actually doing their job and doing the right thing. I'm not talking about these three with a history of police brutality and being sued, etc. But I'm happy this brother's charges was dropped. He should have never been charged in the first place. You know, and this is not the first time a brother's charges have been dropped with a no-knock warrant where he starts shooting at the police when they coming in the middle of the night and not announcing themselves. Well, maybe you guys need to stop doing that. You knock on the door, say it's the police, and then you identify yourself as such, say who you're looking for, etc. Do that. That way, if someone do shoot at you after that, then yeah, you can rightfully charge them with a crime. But I'm glad this brother definitely was not only didn't see any jail time, but the charges were dropped. Now, I did also hear that, well, we dropping the charges, but it may be some other charges later on. Listen, if I was Kenneth Walker, listen to me, Kenneth Walker. Listen to me, brother. Listen to me real good what I'm about to tell you. Get out that state. Get out that state. Get out. Matter of fact, because when they open international travel back up, listen to your brother. Don't listen to nobody else. Listen to me. I'm going to tell you because I know how this system works. You got off, okay? So they're gonna be headhunting for you. They're gonna be trying to find something on you. You're not good in that city getting off like that. So I would leave that state, go somewhere else, and then the moment that you can, when international travel go open up, just get out of here, at least for a year or two. Get out of here, let them forget about you or something, because they're gonna be headhunting for you because you got off of this situation. I know what I'm telling you on this. Some of these brothers that did that, they kept themselves out of issues and problems. But this is the thing. On top of that, the police chief resigned. He resigned. So if the cops didn't do nothing wrong, now the police chief is resigning and they got to wear body cams now. This brother's charges is dropped. But I'm going to tell y'all why all that has happened. It's because of you. It's you the one that put the pressure on. It was you the one that spoke out. It was you that made the videos. It was you that kept the heat on. You understand? See, when we come together collectively and we target something as a people, things can get done. Now, we could just come together and target things like our neighborhoods and target to build, grocery stores and do all the different things that we need to create an economy. And we could do it like that. I hate that it takes someone to die for us to unify. I hate that. And I've been noticing that for years. It's like black folks got to have someone to die for us to unify. Why somebody got to die for us to unify, or someone get beat half to death for us to unify? We should be keeping up with that unity 24/7. And you see things happen when we unify. They was going to just forget Breonna Taylor and like just same thing with Ahmaud Arbery. They was going to forget him. But when you got on the case, when you start speaking up, raising up your voice, and everybody start coming together as a community, you see what happens. That's why I always tell you guys that never think that you don't have a voice or that nothing can happen. I get frustrated because I know what we can do and we don't do it. That's where my frustration lies. That's what makes me like, man, it's like that about a lot of things. Sister fighting the race soldiers and brothers are standing around watching. That frustrates me. You understand? Because I have to report on this and see that cowardice. But yeah, when we come together, we get things done. You have to continue that momentum daily, black folks. Even throughout the world, we come together, even what happens to Africans in China, and they heads start rolling with that. Africans on the continent, heads starting to roll because we are speaking about what's happening with the Chinese and the things that they're doing in the African continent. You understand? Our voice do have power, but we have to come together collectively and you see what happens. But leave me a comment, guys. Let me know what you think about the situation with our brother, Kenneth Walker, because this is a good thing. And they don't like taking too many L's. Trust me on that.